Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, so you know what we're about to do. We are going to be talking about Fani Willis, and I talked to you yesterday about her. She had almost slipped off the radar, but we found her. We found her. So I want to just kick an idea off to you all before we get into the actual content, but I do want to real quick say thank you to everybody that's already jumped into the live chat. This is the best live chat on the planet, so you know you're welcome to join in. All you got to do is hit the like button. There you go. Hit the like button. You can be a part of the best live chat on the planet. You're going to be checking out Mandy. Good to see you. Sister Grace and Peace. We watch YouTube in the building. I thought we were doing a recap of last night. What's going on? Okay, I'm going to talk about that as well. Don't worry. Don't worry. All right. But make sure you hit that like button. I like how we did that. Shara's in the building. Good to see you. Smash that like button. Always good to see my transplanted Texan in the building. All right, let's keep it going. I don't know, Jason. Flames can be pretty bright. All right, and I got you. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it in a second. And we do have some good stuff to talk about. I think this show might actually take a turn, so just hold tight. Make sure you're buckled in. Keep your seat trays up. Good to see you. Present, not perfect. Always good to see you, sir. Grace and peace. We got Cocoa Beach is in the house. All right. And, of course, good friend Detox in the building. Good to see you. Mama Joe's is here. Wait, did I hit that? Yep. There we go. Good to see you. All right, everybody. Now, you've probably seen, most of you know, I'm a former classroom teacher. And one of the things my students absolutely love to do was domino events where you're stacking dominoes and make them fall into a pattern or something like that, or what's called a Rube Goldberg experiment, where you take one item and it attaches to a shoe and makes a ball roll and it hits this and do that. They would absolutely love those things. We would have, they're hard to do, especially when you're talking about 7 and 8 year olds, 6, 7, 8 year olds. Sometimes it's difficult for them to really put it all together, but when they got it together, they had a blast. And sometimes it wouldn't be a super complex type of thing, but it was just something that they could see, like a chain reaction. You do one thing, something happens, that something causes another reaction, so on and so forth. It was really fun to do when you're talking science experiments and so on and so forth. Now, the reason I bring that up is because part of the Rube Goldberg machine, and same thing with dominoes, you got to have everything work exactly perfect. Everything has to work perfect. And if they don't, you're not going to have a perfect experiment, or the thing is not going to go like you anticipated it. I think sometimes they're called the best mousetrap in the world, so on and so forth, things like that. And if you don't do it just right, it's going to go south, and you're not going to have a good experiment, or you're not going to have a good event, so on and so forth. And I'm starting to think, as I'm looking over what is known as the election interference case here in Atlanta, Georgia, Fulton County, I'm kind of thinking I'm looking at a giant Rube Goldberg experiment, a Rube Goldberg project or machine, and something in there is just not working right. But one of the things my students would tell you, like, for example, when they're doing dominoes, all the dominoes have to be flush. All the dominoes have to be flat. You can't have a domino that has like a chipped corner, or a domino that's rounded off on the side, because it's not going to stand up correctly. It's going to fall over at the wrong time and mess your whole experiment up. So you got to have the right type of, you got to have the right equipment to start the party off, if you will. I'm starting to think, as I look at this case, and I'm doing a little bit of background look, this interference case was garbage from the word go. It was garbage from the jump. And you can kind of see it if you look at the YSL case. To me, the YSL case is far worse than the election interference case. But we'll come back to that. But I mean, you can kind of compare them side to side and say, you didn't have flush, you didn't have flat dominoes, you didn't have a ball that was completely circular and whatnot. You had like a wobbly ball or whatever like that. You can see that there's some certain elements of the case that were not perfect. Now, I bring all this up because last night I met with a friend of mine who is in broadcast journalism here in Atlanta. And we were just talking, just chewing the fat, not doing a lot of discussion about much, but I just asked, hey, what about this? What's going on with the election interference case? The sigh and the eye roll that she gave tells me everything I needed to hear. She really didn't have to say anything else. She just said that we're tired of this. And that was it. I didn't press anymore. I just said, oh, okay. And just kept on, move on to the next conversation. But she just breathed this horrible sigh and her eyes rolled back into the back of her head. And I knew it. I said, that's what it is. This case is, first of all, I think it's garbage from the start. But I think other people, and she's not a right winger. She's not a Trump supporter or anything of that nature. She just looks at it and says, yeah, we're tired of this. So I was doing some research and I was looking at a couple other places and I'm coming to realize a lot of people are kind of tired of this. So let me just real quick, let's recap yesterday. We talked about the fact that this case has been punted to basically after the election. So in the current state that it's in, the election interference, the 2020 election interference case here in Fulton County, Georgia, has been, they were attempting to move forward with it until, of course, the infamous Fani Willis and Nathan Wade story came out, and Trump's team wanted Fani Willis and her whole DA office to be recused or be disqualified from trying the case because they felt like there was going to be some impropriety and there's going to be some bias. And that's where the odor of mendacity comment came from, so on and so forth. So it went to appeal. Of course, the judge said that Nathan Wade had to leave. I'm sorry. He said one of them had to leave. Nathan or Fani had to leave. Nathan chose to leave. And now the case is going to the appellate court to decide if Fani Willis needs to be removed. And so yesterday I showed you that the appeals court said, yeah, sure, we'll take it in December. Well, the election is in November. So what's going to be the point of this? What's the purpose of this? At this point, it's not going to even matter. So going back to my Rube Goldberg machine, like you put a square peg in there, it's not going to go through a round hole. What's the purpose of even trying that? It's not going to work. In this example here, what's the purpose of even worrying about that after the election? Because again, we already know if Trump is elected, this case is going to evaporate. If Biden is elected, who's going to care anymore? It won't matter anymore. So I think it's very interesting. And I kind of mentioned this to her, but I didn't press it anymore about it. But I want you to hear one of the local news stations as they address this issue. And just tell me, do you get the vibe that they are kind of tired of talking about this and they're kind of tired of this? Because please understand, this has been going on since January. I think everything hit the fan around the 13th of February, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. So since February, we've been dealing with this disqualification hearing. But let's keep going. I just want you to check it out. What do you think?
Now, the State Court of Appeals has set a date to hear oral arguments in the Fulton County election interference case, specifically whether DA Fani Willis should remain on the case. That hearing is now set for December 5th. Former President Donald Trump and his co-defendants have been pushing to have Willis disqualified. They argue her romantic relationship with former Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade represented a conflict of interest. Again, oral arguments are now set for December 5th, so it's very likely this trial wouldn't even happen until the year 2025 at this point.
And the point that I wanted to point out to you all, and I got one more we'll look at, and then we'll get into the other topics that I said I was going to discuss. Notice they're now coming clean that this case is not going to even be heard. It won't even get into full speed until 2025. What'll be the purpose of that? What will be the purpose of that? Not a bit. So the reason I bring this up is because I'm looking over the Fulton County DA's office and some of the cases that they've tried. Now they've tried some great cases and they've done good work. I'm not saying that they're, just throw them all out and they've never done anything good. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, however, is in this high profile case, as well as in the YSL case, we're looking at people that are not bringing their very best product or very best to the case in order for it to get where it needs to go. There is rumor that Fani Willis was discouraged by the previous DA not to try the YSL case. by the previous DA, Paul Howard. Now, if that's true or if that's not, I'm not 100% certain. What I can definitely tell you right now is what she has in front of her is a complete and utter train wreck. But then we go look at the election interference case, and you got to wonder, were you trying to derail this case by electing? You chose to do this. Somebody that you were having a romantic relationship with, and you didn't think that it would be problematic at all? Again, I just don't think that I can't believe that they didn't think of that. So one of the good questions, somebody said there was no sound. Oh, the sound was low? All right, let me go back. Let me play that again, then let me just double check. Hold on one second.
County now, the state court.
I apologize for that. Thank y'all so much. I apologize for that. Let me just make sure the volume is up. All right, we're going to try it this way. All right, let's try it again. Sorry about that. Check it out.
Appeals has set a date to hear oral arguments in the Fulton County election interference case, specifically whether DA Fani Willis should remain on the case. That hearing is now set for December 5th. Former President Donald Trump and his co-defendants have been pushing to have Willis disqualified. They argue her romantic relationship with former special prosecutor Nathan Wade represented a conflict of interest. Again, oral arguments are now set for December 5th, so it's very likely this trial wouldn't even happen until the year 2025 at this point.
All right, so hopefully you all could hear that better. I apologize. It did look like the volume might have been low, but I don't think it was completely down, but hopefully you heard it clear enough. But one of the things that I'm just kind of wondering, and most of you may have wondered as well, what would happen if in December or whenever they decide that Fani Willis is disqualified? What does that actually mean? What is the end result? What will be the consequences of Fani Willis being found disqualified? How does that move forward? I found a really great short that really explained it. It was super quick, and I just wanted to check this out, and then we'll talk about the rest of it.
You want to avoid the appearance of impropriety. You want to avoid the appearance of a possible conflict of interest. We all know that this case is also being tried in the court of public opinion. Is there too much credibility damage that has been done so far? Would it save and resuscitate this case if someone else stepped in? In Georgia, if DA Fani Willis is disqualified, it's her entire office. It's the team that is gone. And then there's another council of prosecutors that would decide which office takes it over. The problem with that is that that new office could decide, you know what, some of these charges don't fit. Some of these charges aren't strong enough. We're going to have to reevaluate where this goes. And so that not only puts a delay in bringing these defendants to trial, including former President Donald Trump, but it also makes you wonder what's going to be left if Fani Willis gets disqualified.
So, and you've heard us talk about this because I joked about it because I live in Cobb County, and I was joking that if Fani Willis gets disqualified, Cobb County will probably take the case. And I went to Superior Court campus and kind of walked around and said, this is where it would be. Because I mean, my office is not very far from there. My studio is not far from there. I could literally walk over there every day and just go check it out. But if Fani Willis gets disqualified, her entire office is deemed disqualified. So the whole Fulton County case, Fulton County will no longer be able to try the case, as this young lady pointed out. Now, the thing is, Cobb County might not want it, or another county might have to be able to take it on, and they might have to be able, and there's going to be a financial burden for them to do so. So Cobb County could probably take it, I believe, but it might need to even be moved out of the metro area. So it might need to go like to Athens or Savannah, or something crazy like that. And again, is that district or is that DA able to handle it? Do they agree that this is actually a good case? So there's a lot of little layers, going back to my Rube Goldberg example or my domino example. There's a lot of things that got to be lined up. And I think, just my little 2 cents, my little suspicion, is this case really isn't that good. And if we use the YSL case as an example of just the shoddy performance and the shoddy preparation that Fani Willis's team does, it is very possible that the reason they're fighting like they are to keep this case is because nobody else would agree with some of the ways that they've gone about securing information. They've gone about making these indictments, the way they've gone about charging these men and women for these crimes. So I think that's one of the reasons why they're fighting so much, because they know if they get disqualified, nobody else is going to want to take it. Now, sure, we can put an element of, red versus blue, white versus black. We can do that. We can do that for sure. But I think just on the basics, on the basic level, that's probably why Fani Willis is fighting like she's fighting like the Dickens to keep this case, is because most people probably wouldn't want to take it. That's my little 2 cents on that. Now, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Let me real quick. I see some good people stopping by. And I also want to thank, who is this? This Cocoa Beach gives a shout with the super sticker. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super sticker. Thank you so very much, Cocoa Beach. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support of the channel. As well, I want to say shout out to Shara. Good to see you as always. Always good to see some of my good favorite friends in the building. And I think I might have missed some. There we go. Good to see Black Law Student in the house as well. Hopefully soon we might be doing some projects with Black Law Student. So if y'all don't mind, go by and check out what they're doing over there. Just make sure you follow them, because you don't know, you might see us doing a project together. What's going on, Felipa? Good to see you. Grace and peace. And okay, I see Corey in the building. Corey, thank you so much for stopping by. Everybody, thank you so much for this morning shout out. I know that in this morning live stream, most of the time I have been kind of talking about the RNC, what was the Republican National Convention speeches from yesterday. So I do want to go over that. The reason I didn't is because reason I didn't start with that is because I didn't have any clips, because I've been messing around with President Firstborn, because she's out driving today. She went to go to breakfast with some of her classmates and stuff. So I was messing around with her, as well as Chief Executive Secondborn, and I didn't get my clips ready. So that's why I didn't start with that. But I do want to talk about the Republican National Convention. And if you've been watching, I've been doing a watch party pretty much every night since they started. And I thought it was good, because I think it's good to actually hear what people are saying versus being told what people said in a soundbite. And I was a little bit surprised how many people, even at my church, who are not actually watching the convention, they're just watching the news and what the news says about it, which I think is really interesting, given the fact that this is almost 4.5 hours of speeches. And let me tell you right now, if you've been hanging out with us in the evening, there's a lot. There's a lot. Was it Tuesday? Tuesday, I think we counted as like 27, 35. I don't remember how many. There was a lot of speeches, okay? There are a lot of them. Some are really, really bad, and some are complete barn burners. But there's a lot of them, okay? Let's just tell the truth. However, I do think it's good for you to hear what they're saying versus me interpreting what they're saying. Because, for example, on Monday night, they had Amber Rose, who is not a woman of high moral standards by any means or measures. And there was probably 25 speeches on Monday night. All I heard about was Amber Rose. Almost to the point that I was like, well, wait, there were other people that spoke, but all you heard about on the news and the snippets were Amber Rose. Now, granted, again, I don't think that what she said was the worst thing. She's not a person of high moral standards that I would hold up for any reason. What I am saying, however, is I didn't think what she said was really that bad. It was actually kind of encouraging, because she said that she was a Democrat. And she moved from the Democratic mindset because she started looking and researching. So she literally was telling the people that follow her, because I don't follow her, because she wasn't a speech for me. But the people that follow her and the people that can be influenced by her, she was challenging them to just do your research. Look up what Donald Trump has actually done and said for yourself. Don't take sound bites. I think that's a very smart approach. Why would you not want people to do that? So we've been doing this, and I think it is arduous. It is long. Tonight is the last night of it. I'm not mad that it's over with. Let me tell you. Last night, J.D. Vance gave his acceptance speech, as well as his vision as a vice president. I wasn't upset about it. I will say that. There were some really, let me give you the lay of the land. So yesterday's theme was Make America Safe. And they were going over the, wait, do I have mine? No, the family impacts were on the night previous. I'm sorry. Wait, wealthy, save. I didn't even bring my notes up. Real quick, transplanted Texas. What was the theme for last night? Because I feel like I got that wrong. Yeah, and real quick, just while I'm recapping, trying to find my notes, Mandy's bringing up a great point. They were bringing up Amber Rose as if she was the only person that spoke. And there were some really good speakers. And again, I think the keynote speaker, who was the gentleman from the president of the Teamsters Union, I thought he was actually pretty good. Again, I'm not a Teamster guy. I'm not a union guy, but I could understand. And I think if you step back and you watch, you can see where the Republican Party is trying to pivot toward, which is being more inclusive for the younger audience, because they were shooting for the younger audience and they were aiming for the younger audience. And I want to say they probably were a little bit more successful than people want to admit, of reaching out to the younger crowd. And I think that you can't go wrong with that, because again, the GOP can't just be the party of older people of a particular ethnicity. That can't be a good strategy. Real quick, let me pull this up while I'm sitting here. Make sure I got my notes right. Sorry about that. But so last night, JD Vance went over his vision for being a vice president. It wasn't bad. I thought it was a good plan, and I thought it came across well. And the theme, I don't think the theme was make us safe, but they went through several instances where they see, the GOP sees Donald Trump and Vance being stronger at making America a safe place to live and to thrive in. I thought that was a great message. I thought they did a fantastic job of conveying that, at least. Sorry. I thought they did a great job of conveying that. And it was the family impacts. I'm sorry. So yesterday, they went through the multiple instances where families have been negatively impacted by Joe Biden's policies. Particularly, they leaned heavy on the 13 Americans left in Afghanistan. So far that they had they're called the Gold Star families. They had the Gold Star families come up and give what I call impact statements, and basically give their testimony of, how the Biden administration hasn't reached out to them, so on and so forth. It was extremely powerful, to say the least. And the reason I bring that up is because you would miss that if you didn't watch the whole thing. And I think watching these type of things, they're not super exciting. They're not, there's some instances where they can be boring even. But I think the value in hearing what they're saying from their own mouth. So you could hear what J.D. Vance said from his own mouth. You can hear what various and sundry politicians are saying from their own mouths, rather than be it transliterated by me. Okay, so I think last night's theme was make America strong again. There was a heavier focus on the military, and again, like I said, they were leaning on a lot of the instances where the military has been let down by the Biden administration. I think that was a reasonable approach to it. So last night we did that, and I thought it was actually really informative. I got a lot more information about J.D. Vance because I didn't know much about him before he was selected as vice president. And most people had a vision of somebody else being their vice president. Okay, fine. But another thing I noticed is the GOP made a lot of noise this year, a lot of noise about people coming up from this I started at the bottom, now I'm here type of story. They've made a lot of noise about that. They are not going to let that go. And I think it's actually kind of smart, in my opinion, to address that. Oh, is this President Firstborn? Hold on one second. It's President Firstborn. Hi. How's breakfast?
Liddy.
So you out just driving around?
Yeah.
Okay. Chilling. All right. Cool. There's my firstborn. All right. So Okay, so you had breakfast. You did all that.
Yeah.
All right, what you about to do?
Do some practice math modules.
Okay, go module with math and practice.
So.
Stay good, homie.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, baby. Love you too. All right, so President Firstborn, by the way. And not apparently, J.D. Vance wrote a book and is a movie. I might have to go check that out. I've heard lots of things about his book was really good because, again, he started, he's a hillbilly. He calls himself a hillbilly. And he was raised in the Appalachian Mountains. And now he's running for vice president. I mean, come on, that story is crazy. And all throughout this RNC, they've been using that theme of, I started at the bottom and now I'm here. I started in this place and I'm here. I was, raised by a single mom, but now I'm here. They've been really putting their foot on the gas on that story. But you wouldn't hear that if you don't actually pay attention and watch. Really, I hate to say it, you got to watch all of it, but you got to watch a good bit of it. But just, getting sound bites is not going to be sufficient. And everybody keeps talking about, apparently, J.D. Vance's grandma, I forgot what he called his, Mamaw. I don't know. I'm sorry. Mamaw. So apparently his mamaw, she was a pistol, pun intended. When she passed away, when they cleaned out her house, they found all these loaded guns. I think he said they found 19 loaded guns all around the house. So grandma wasn't playing games. She was ready for business. And apparently, she didn't move very fast. So she would have a gun wherever she could reach. So she had guns all over the house. It's a funny story. It was funny. It was funny. You got to give them credit for that. I mean, it was funny. So back to the point. So watching this, and we've been doing a watch party here on the channel, and it's been fun. So we've been watching it. We've been kind of rating it, kind of giving our 2 cents about it. Not a lot of color commentary because they are moving. They are moving. They literally have timestamps on the schedule of this person is going to speak at this time. This person is going to speak at this time. They don't have a lot of time to play games. Like, they're moving pretty fast. But it has been fun to watch it with, I guess it's about 40 of us last night, and to hear their perspectives, because some people don't agree. Some people don't think that J.D. Vance is a good candidate. They should have selected somebody else. And, I can totally understand their point. But the aim and the focus is to just have an opportunity to engage with other people while watching this together and kind of getting your feedback and so on and so forth in the chat. So I'm not commentating much, just a little bit of snarky commentary every now and then. But most of us are just commenting in the chat and having a good time. So tonight I think, hold on one second, my little angel from above, AKA Transplanted Texan, just sent it to me. I think Trump is going live tonight at 10 o'clock or 10:30. I think it's 10:30. So we're going to start at 9. We're not doing the whole thing tonight. I'm sorry. That thing is not good for my nerves. Even though I just told y'all should watch it. But 4.5 hours sometimes is a lot. But so I'm going to go live at 9. We'll watch there, and then we'll watch Trump give his acceptance speech and go from there. But my goal was to watch the RNC and then in August watch the DNC so we can kind of get a compare and contrast. Because one of the things I noticed is that the RNC is making absolutely, unequivocally, unashamedly, they are very patriotic. They are doing the red, white, and blue. They are doing the Pledge of Allegiance. They are doing the flag. They're doing America, America, America. I really want to see how the DNC responds to that. I'm really interested to see how is the DNC going to respond to, because it's patriotism on overload, okay? So how are they going to respond to that? Will they also patriotize? Will they be patriotic? Or are they going to do something different? I really want to see how the DNC handles that. I also want to see how the DNC handles what I'm calling it the impact statements, but they're basically like testimonies of, like, the first night they had small businesses that are talking about how they were negatively impacted. And then when they were talking about Make America Safe Again, they had families come up who are affected by the drug cartels that have just been flooding various drugs into America. And then, of course, people that are coming into America with ill intent They were powerful statements. They were very, very powerful. Going back to last night, they had family impacts statements about how the government has impacted the military and so on and so forth. I really want to see what the DNC's response is going to be to that. Are they going to have people giving their testimonies of parent family impact statements as well? Because the patriotism and the family impact statements, in my opinion, are extremely problematic for the DNC. But I'm willing to listen to see what you're going to say. But I think it's going to be very, very, very difficult for them to to sidestep that and just ignore it, because so much of the RNC is America first, America first, America first. Now, let me also say, sure, they really want Trump to be president. They really want Trump to be president for sure. But the reason they want Trump to be president is because they want America to be great. I want America to be prosperous again. I want America to be a great place for my kids and my great grandkids and so on and so forth. So they see Trump as being able to do that. So the end goal is for America to be great. Not the end goal is just to have Trump as president. So I'm really interested. I wish the DNC was next week. I'm not gonna even lie. I wish it was next week. So we can compare and contrast both of these in real time very quickly, because it's going to be interesting. And I see a lot of you all. I see a lot of your comments in here about what you think the DNC is going to be focusing on. I don't disagree, because I don't disagree with you. I just want to see how they're going to play this out. Because again, and we were talking about it last night with the Gold Star families. I'm sorry. That was, it was pulling on dear woke Christians' heartstrings, okay? They got you in the fields listening to these parents tell these stories. Same thing with the night before about families being negatively impacted by illegal immigration. It's hard to get over that. It's going to be very hard to sidestep that. And yeah, so I'm very, very interested. I don't know if I'm going to do all 4 nights and watch everything, but I'm going to do my very best to listen to as much of it as I can. Because the DNC, I think it's going to be interesting, to say the very least. But that is my summary of the RNC up to last night. I'm looking forward to tonight. I think it's going to be interesting to hear Donald Trump, hear what he's going to say. I will say this. I watched the debate. I did a debate watch party with Professor Nez. The Donald Trump that did the debate with Joe Biden, if that Donald Trump shows up tonight, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. That Donald Trump that was at the debate was a different Donald Trump that was at the debate with Joe Biden. What was that, 2019 going into the 2020 election, or with Hillary Clinton? Remember that? All of those shenanigans. That Donald Trump was a different person than the one that we saw most recently at the debate about a month ago. If that Donald Trump shows up, sure, he's going to throw some jabs at Biden. He's going to call him the worst president. He's going to do some of the things that he does. But if he just keeps it in the middle of the road and doesn't get hyper bombastic and just keeps it even keel, it's going to be very, very problematic for them to vilify him. But again, if he plays into the role and just gives all this soundbite, because again, lots of people listen to this for sound bites. They're not watching it or actually watching the whole thing or even listen to understand. If he gives them that, then there is going to be a problem. But if he comes in and does just like he did at the debate, he's poised, he's calm. Now, granted, he's going to be at home field, so he doesn't need to be super bombastic. But if he just keeps it even keel, it's going to be a very, very interesting, 90 days till election? It's going to be very interesting, to say the least. Shara says, tune in at 9 because I need a nap. All right. Yeah, I think it's at 9 o'clock, didn't I? I have a diaconate meeting tonight. So if anybody doesn't know, I'm a deacon. We have a diaconate meeting. We've been doing pretty good at getting out of there pretty quick. However, it starts at 6:30. We've already talked about a lot of the stuff that we're going to be discussing tonight. So prayerfully, 6:30 will rhyme with like 8:30. Get out of there, then I could be home on time. But if not, you know what I mean? So Amethyst says, I read Hillbilly Elegy via Audible, please forgive me. He reads his own book and does it very well. It's a good book. Okay. I don't know much about it, so I'm going to have to check it out. I'm still reading a book a week, so that might be, maybe I'll do that. Let's see. There's going to be some interestingness. I see some people are saying there's going to be the rainbow flag. It's going to be very interesting to see how they do that, because that team has created such a vitriol toward the flag of this country. I'm really interested. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to have no flag there? Are you going to have no support for the red, white, and blue? Like, that's going to be very interesting. But we'll continue. I'm going to let them go, but I cannot wait to see what the DNC does for their convention. Lots of people. Good to see you, Sis Bud. Thank you so much. Lots of people are saying they think it's going to be the rainbow flag. That's going to be very interesting. But the bad thing is, why would it not be? Because somebody's a Democrat's going to say, well, you're just projecting that on. I'm like, why would we not? Where did we get it from? Did we make it up? Did somebody just make that out of whole cloth? No, they didn't. It's what the team has been doing. So she says, the orange man bad. I mean, yeah. Let's keep this rolling. Okay. There's going to be a lot. That was another thing I noticed. There's not a lot of identity politics in the RNC. Now, I was wondering at the beginning, day one, they brought out lots of black men speakers. I was like, oh man, are they going to do that? Nobody mentioned it. And I was waiting to see if it was going to happen in day two, and it didn't. Day three, I didn't see it either. So it doesn't seem like they're trying to play into any form of identity politics. There's men and there's women. There's one man that's handicapped, of course. There's some older men, older women, younger men, younger women. I think they're keeping in the middle of the road. They're not leaning on identity politics. Whereas I think we can agree that the DNC is going to have a lot of identity politics. Shout out. So this right here where Mama Joe says that the first black, blah, blah, blah. I totally can see it. Totally. I cannot wait. Oh, I cannot wait. I want to hear Kamala Harris's acceptance speech. Matter of fact, truth be told, let's just tell the truth, shame the devil. The DNC is going to be problematic anyway because of what's going on with Joe Biden and his health. That's going to be front and center. If they go into that convention with Joe Biden as their nominee and he hasn't, now granted, they got a month. It's almost, it's literally a month from tomorrow. It's August 19th. If they go into the convention with Joe Biden as the nominee, there's going to be some contention there. There is going to be contention. And if they replace Joe Biden between now and August 19th, and the people aren't pleased with the person that they replace him with, there's going to be problems. That's going to be a very interesting convention. Because think about it. Just think about it. Let's noodle this out, everybody. They prided themselves on being the first party to have a quote unquote black female vice president. Remember that? If they don't select Kamala Harris to be the president and somebody be her vice president, but they skip her and go pick Gavin Newsom, they skip her and pick somebody else, would that not be the biggest affront to her? Wouldn't that just be it? Because they've played this game so long that now, again, they've painted themselves into a corner. They have to select Kamala Harris to be president. If they don't, they're going to say that Kamala Harris is not good enough to be president, but she's good enough to be Joe Biden's vice president. That's going to be problematic. And I'm going to be right here to watch it. I'm just here because My king is not being nominated. My king is not having health issues. My king is not under any way, shape, or form worried about what's going on in the American election cycle. That's why I enjoy watching it, because I just think, hey, Jesus Christ is still Lord. So therefore, I can watch this and enjoy it and eat popcorn and crack jokes about it, because at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, my king still reigns. So anyway, I just think this is interesting. So now that they've painted themselves into a corner that Kamala Harris is so wonderful, so great, why is she so wonderful, so great that you're not going to nominate her to be the president? Why not? She's so great and wonderful, stunning and brave. Why is she not going to be the president? And if they select somebody else, wouldn't that just show that she's not so great and wonderful? They've painted themselves into a corner. Yeah, I'm just here to enjoy it. I'm just here. I got my iced coffee and I'm just going to enjoy watching it. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting time. All right, keep this going, Jason. What we got here? I would love to know I would love to see the theme. I hope they give that out soon, because like this theme is Make America what? Wealthy again, safe again, strong again. And I think today is strong again as well. So that's been the theme of the RNC. Make blah, blah, blah. Make America blah, blah, blah. So I would love to know what's going to be the theme of the DNC. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Oh, okay, no, I apologize. Make America great once again. Okay, thank you so much, Transplanted Texan. Shout out to Transplanted Texan. You've been a lot of help. Thank you so much. Keeping me straight. Thank you so much. Wait, what did, I think I understand what Connie's saying here. What could they even say? They've never had genuine families give testimonies on how Trump has impacted their lives in catastrophic ways. I mean, the Gold Star families, all I kept saying is the RNC is not playing fair. They are not playing fair. To hear those families explain when their children were left and loved ones were left in Afghanistan, and they're texting them like, just let me know if you're okay. Let me know. And then they all told the story of how they were two Marines at the door. I saw the white van pull into the driveway. And I knew at that moment that my loved one was not coming back. Yo, it was rough. Okay. And I think every last one of them pointed out that during the debate, Joe Biden said that nobody's died on his watch. And they're like, you just completely ignored our families. It was powerful. It was very powerful. But then they all said, like, no, Trump met with us. Trump met with all of us for multiple hours, talking with us and all of that. I'm sorry. They made that man look real human. Like, sure, you might not like him. Sure, you think he's terrible. Sure, you think he's got a bad spray tan in his whatever. That's fine. But that dude was a human last night, and those people conveyed that message. It's going to be hard for them to overstep that. The DNC should have went first. They should have had that convention two months ago. They should have had that convention 2 months ago, because it's going to be very hard for them to overstep that. And well, they can't say that the families are fake. They're the families. They can't say that, no, you really didn't have a child that died from fentanyl. What are you going to do? No, you really didn't have a negative impact because of open borders. Like, they had a family who lived very close to the border, and their property is being trampled over with countless migrants and people walking past and walking on the property all the time, breaking into their homes and so on and so forth, stealing the property. You can't overcome that. You can't say that it didn't happen. So it's going to be really interesting. I can't, like I said, the DNC could be tonight. Well, not tonight. That's crazy. It could be next week. I would 100% be there, because I would love to see how they try to address these issues and convey them another way, or do they just totally sidestep them? I don't expect anything positive. I'm sorry. And I've said this before. My name is Jason. I love talking about these topics with people. And perfect example. I've yet to hear anybody tell me where Donald Trump said that he would be a dictator. Where? Can you timestamp me the video? Send it to me. Don't tell me what he said. Send me the video. I've yet to have anybody send me the video of him saying he's going to be a dictator. And I think it's because I do know where it is. I do think it's because they know that it didn't actually happen. They know it. And so in this situation here, a lot of the time, people are just getting this information. They're just being told it. Again, the 2025 project, like it or not, Donald Trump never affirmed it. You can't show me that he said, this is a great plan that I'm going to institute once I step into office. Show me that. Book, chapter, verse, and context where he said that. It doesn't exist because he hasn't. But people just keep saying this. We watched a video of Rachel Maddow. She's just saying it. But he didn't say that, Rachel. And people are not willing to actually accept. And again, you don't have to like Donald Trump. But on the same note, just don't lie. Just say, okay, I don't like him. I want to vote for Biden. Okay, fine. But you don't have to besmirch somebody in order to make yourself feel good about what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. What's going on? Scott said he is in Lawrenceville. What's up, man? Oh, you close to Fulton County? Watch out. Watch out. Good to have you, friend. Grace and peace. All right, let's see what we got up in here. All the good people shouting them out. Let's see what we got here. Are you going to play the clip of Marsha Blackburn and Andy Biggs that I sent you? Did you just email it to me? Hold on one second. I think I know what you're talking about. I'm sorry about that. We're doing this on the fly. Oh, this is from last night. I'm sorry. No, wait. You said Blackburn. I don't have that one. We watch YouTube. Please forgive me. Give me a second. We're doing this on the fly. We got to give the people what they're looking for. All right, let's go find this. I don't see that one. I think you sent it to me. I don't think I have that one. We watch YouTube. I apologize. But if you send it to me, I will check it out. I appreciate Hood Lawyer. Hood Lawyer sent me a picture of him. I guess I've made it into the home office, man. What do you know about that? I'm up in here in the home office. Real quick, shout out to... So apparently I've made it into the home office over at Hood Lawyer's location. What's up with that? I'm on the big screen. I'm on big time. I love it. All right, let me make sure I got this. Okay. And back to this. And I think Janelle broke it down right here. That's because he didn't actually say anything like that. Now, does Trump say some crazy stuff? Yeah, he says some edgy things. That's for sure. There's some things he says that I'm like, yeah, you really shouldn't have said that. Yeah, that was probably bad, my guy. But some of the stuff that he's being accused of is he doesn't actually say. People are just imposing it on him for whatever reason. I'm like, why do y'all do this? Oh, okay. No, I do know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. We watch YouTube. I will pull that up in a second then. But yeah, I think that's problematic. And I think we as people should be willing to say, hey, I don't like this person, but you don't have to besmirch him. I don't besmirch Biden. I mean, I might say some snarky stuff every now and then. And I might say but I say snarky stuff about Trump. I mean, all the time. So, I mean, just leave it alone. You don't have to make it something that is not. Just Okay, fine. I don't like Trump. I don't like Biden. You don't like Kamala. You don't like Vance. Okay, fine. Let's keep it moving. But you don't have to impose things on them that are not true, or deliberately or intentionally misrepresent what they're saying in order to make your case better. No, you don't have to do that. I know that's what we do is called politics. I understand that. But you don't have to do it. You are better than that. That's all I'm saying. So last night at the RNC, we haven't talked much about this, and because I think it's just such a weird story, and it's the whole story of what happened in Pennsylvania. And what I mean by that is I'm seriously worried about the security competence that, or lack of, that we saw in Pennsylvania. I haven't heard anybody say, yo, that was the most competent Secret Service, competent security on the planet, and the perpetrator of the crime was just so much more talented, so much more skilled. That's crazy. I mean, when you think about it, a 20-year-old who apparently had a hankering against the former president was able to get within 200 feet, or however many, let's just say 300 for laughs and giggles, 300 feet of a former president with a weapon is crazy. And we have highly trained men and women, former military, former police, and all these kind of people. And they got one-upped by a 20-year-old sitting on a hot tin roof and an AR. That is not a good look. So last night, the Secret Service chief was actually confronted at the RNC. And shout out to We Watch YouTube, fantastic supporter of the channel. We're going to just real quick check this out. And I actually want to make sure y'all can hear it. So that'll actually be a good look right there for me to test that out. All right, so shout out to We Watch YouTube. It's always been a great supporter of the channel. So let's see what we got. So if I'm not mistaken, this is Miss Blackburn, and this is Kimberly right here.
All of us were on the call today. Very disappointed. We were all in the queue trying to answer questions, and until we run out of questions, they hadn't. Every one of us had questions that we wanted to ask. We felt we didn't get any of the responses that were necessary from you.
Let me get myself out of here.
Very disappointed in your leadership. I have called for your resignation, and I'd rather you resign tonight or start answering our questions right now about the death threat to President Trump and allowing him to go on stage in Pennsylvania at a time when he'd already been alerted that there was somebody with a spotter. All these situations already identified an hour before, and you let him go on stage without the knowledge of him, the team on the ground, and you put him within less than an inch of his life. So resignation or full explanation to us right now.
We have time to get our questions out, and he never was running the bar. It's another man. The director, who was nearly killed. You mean an hour out, you have a suspicious person, and at 5:51, according to the timeline of your deputy, you've identified a potential threat. And then at 5:52, you told, or someone told, that the sniper, that he was there. But can you give us an explanation? Why would anyone allow the president to go on stage when you know you've got a potential threat and you've got snipers that are trained? Why? I don't think that this is a private attitude.
Wait, you hung up on. We're here. You cut out the meeting short. Well, we can find a place to go right now.
All right, we'll try again.
we'll leave with you then. No, we're going with you. We're going with you.
Wait, okay, I gotta stop. They said, look, oh, no, you can go, but we coming with you. They said, oh, no, we're going to walk you out to your car. Don't you worry about it. I got you. We're going to walk with you. I'm absolutely loving this.
Go ahead, son. No shame, no concern. You answer the United States. I'm going to tell you the answer. The answer to us. The answer to us. This is exactly what you're doing today.
This was an assassination attempt. You owe
nothing.
answers. You owe President Trump answers.
Go.
She booking. She ain't playing.
You cannot hide from
To the people of the United States. You're the head of the Secret Service.
You owe answers.
You owe answers to the Senate, to the House, to the President, the past President, and you owe answers to the president. The president should have this for the protection for crying out loud. Just like that.
Wow. Okay, I promise you, I think I'm going to back it up. I think I see the lady, or it looks like her at least. I'm not trying to be ethnically not fair, but I see one of the women. It looks like one of the women that was protecting Trump. Let me bring it back in. All right, right here. Let me play right here. Jason, hit play. Okay. Right there. That ponytail one right there. That looks like one of the ones, one of the three ladies that was protecting, and I'm using that word very loosely, protecting Trump at the Pennsylvania rally. That looks like her right there. I mean, I'm not trying to be genderist, okay? I'm not, or ethnicist and say they all look alike. And I notice also she has a lot of women protecting her too. Like, what is this, Charlie's Angels? Like, there she is. There's a blonde right here. There's a ponytail girl right here. And then there's another one on her left. Am I hallucinating? Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's a brother on the left. Okay. So there's two women protecting her. This is wild. And then it shut the door. That looks like one of them, though. I'm promising you. All right. I know y'all going to say something bad. Make sure you email management. But that is wild. Thank you so much. We watch YouTube. They were definitely trying to get away from that. But like, for example, again, my name is Jason. Please make sure you email management. I'm going to say something that's probably not the most user-friendly. I really want you to just think. Any movie that you've seen where it's, us versus, one or two stragglers versus a whole army, okay, a whole army of people. A lot of those Olympian has fallen. What is it called? There's a movie where basically a president, and I think the president was like Morgan Freeman, and like his top Secret Service guy, and they're trapped and they got to like make their way out and so on and so forth. And I've brought this up before. Do you really want me to believe? Am I supposed to suspend reality that, I'm 5'6"? I don't weigh what I probably should weigh at 5'6", but, I'm not 300 pounds, okay, or anything of that nature. Not even 250. But am I supposed to believe that my daughter, who's barely tapping at 100, is going to be able to securely get me out of a firefight or a fist fight or some kind of situation where she may have to drag me, throw me over her shoulder? Am I supposed to believe that I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm just being real, a woman can do that? Am I supposed to believe that? Just tell me what I'm supposed to believe, because it just doesn't make any sense. And again, when you see that video, and again, I'm not saying that women are not capable, but let's just tell the truth, shame the devil. You don't immediately think, oh man, this building is on fire. We need somebody to run in there and rescue my pet gerbil. Let's go get a woman to do that. That's not what you're immediately thinking. You're not immediately thinking it. Now, if a woman runs in there and gets it, you're going to still be thankful that your pet gerbil's safe, but you're not thinking that off the rip. Off the rip, you're thinking of a guy. You're thinking of a man to do this task. If you're walking down the street and there's some really gnarly dudes walking towards you, you're not saying that you want you're not saying, I want the Kimberly lady who's the director of the Secret Service to be alongside me. No, you're not saying that. You're not thinking that. You want somebody who is able and capable of protecting you. And let's just tell the truth, shame the devil. Was it Deep Impact? No, there's some kind of what's that? Now I gotta look it up. It's some kind of, I got all off task. You want a guy to protect you. That's all I'm saying. All right, what's the name of that movie? It's some movie where Morgan Freeman is like the president, or is it Olympus? I never saw it. And they had like a whole series of them. Olympus Has Fallen. That's it. And Morgan Freeman's yeah. I wasn't making that up. 2013. I have no idea what it's about. London Has Fallen. Yeah, they had a whole series of them. Yeah, and none of these movies are you thinking, okay, here we go. Here's just a series of them right here. Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen, and White House Down. Never saw that. Don't even know what these movies are about. But one of the things you're not going to convince me. I am not going to take the copium to get me to believe that you would rather, who's this guy right here? This is Chatham Tatum. Yeah, Gerard Butler. Oh, yeah, that's who it is. There's no way you want me to believe that Morgan Freeman would rather Jennifer Lopez be here instead of Jared Butler. There's no way that Jamie Foxx wants Kim Kardashian here instead of Channing Tatum. Come on, let's just tell the truth. This is what we do. This is what we do as guys. And I'm sorry, Secret Service is limiting themselves by putting themselves in a position where they're seeking to check boxes rather than make sure they have the right people in play. I'm sure you've probably seen it on Twitter. I'm sure there's other places as well. Countless retired military people who are more than capable and in their retired state than these women were in their prime to do that job. And that's all I'm saying. And I think it was telling to watch that. And it was telling, yeah, Olympus Has Fallen. Yeah, there we go. And it's telling to watch that because I feel like it's showing our adversaries. It's showing the people that maybe don't want to do us, maybe want to do us harm. That, hey, America doesn't even take their leadership, protecting their leaders seriously because they're putting people around them that are not able to protect them. There's no way in the world you're going to convince me. I know y'all all saw it. Those young ladies trying to scramble Trump to the SUV. There is no way in the world you're going to try to convince me that those women would be able, if things went south, to protect him. I'm sorry. You don't believe that. Hold on. Because we looked at it, and that's the only thing I'm trying to point out. I'm like, yo, this is not a good look for us. It's not. Oh, is it? I don't know. I've never seen any of them. I just knew David. Thank you so much, David. David says China is the attackers in the movie. Oh, I didn't know that. But I got your point. I see what you did there. Hold on. I just want to see this one more time. We're not going to be long. I don't think so, at least. Yeah, here it is right here. I'm not trying to be, and please, and I don't want people to think that there are gender roles. There are roles that men and women fill that are specific to men and women. I'm sorry, that's just the reality. All right, so right here, let me move myself out of the way. Let's watch this again. Everybody's seen this. And this is the shorter one. It's not the long one of them scrambling to get him to the SUV. I don't know. That might have been that blonde chick too. And there's the ponytail. Am I to believe? Look at this guy right here. Look at this guy right here. This bald guy with the glasses. He looks like he's an easy, stout 250. Okay? He's a 250. He's a stout 250. He looks like he might be like 6 foot plus. Is that fair? And let's say things really go south. And, you know, like the metal meets the meat. The thing really hits the fan. But this guy gets injured. He gets injured. He can't remove himself off the field. And little Susie Holster over here is tasked to get him off of the field. Do you want me to believe that she is going to be able to drag this man off the field? Everybody else is removed. Everybody else is removed. It's just her and my bald brother right here. Am I supposed to believe, and let's let me know what I'm supposed to do here. Am I supposed to believe that she's going to be able to get him off the field so that he can be properly taken care of and live to see another day? Is that what I'm supposed to believe? Because there's no way in the world that's going to happen. It's come on. Let's just tell the truth. Let's be honest. That's not going to happen. This man is going to go see the Lord. It's just real. I'm sorry. If he was injured, he was hitting the leg, and the bad guys are on their way. It's her and this guy right here. I'm sad to say this man's going to go meet Jesus. It's just not going to happen. There's no way. And so what's the purpose of a Secret Service agent if he or she is not able to fully execute their duties and responsibilities? Sure, you can jump in front of a bullet. Yes, that's a reality as well. Right. But after that, if jumping in front of a bullet is not the only thing that you do, what if sadly your occupant is injured? Because please understand, human weight, live weight, and dead weight is a different game. It's different. Okay. And I'm like, why would you put yourself in a position where you're not able to be successful? This would be akin to putting me on an NBA basketball team. I could be passionate. I could be driven. I could be rah, rah, rah. I am not running up and down that field, up and down that court with these 6'7" people. It's just not going to happen. There's no reason for them to draft me. There's none whatsoever. So I'm going to be the 95th draft pick. And it's probably going to be because they need somebody to carry water. That's going to be about the extent of it. But there's no way in the world at the great big dance, because this is the big dance. And they were shown to be completely and utterly incapable. I'm just saying. So to have and I'm sure I've seen the director of the Secret Service try to explain this away, and it was bad. She blamed the police. She blamed the weather. She blamed the shooter, but she didn't take responsibility for herself. That's problematic. So I'm sorry. We watch YouTube. I'm not willing to give her that. I'm sorry. That I will if little Susie Holster wants to come to Atlanta, I will 100%, we can live stream it and everything. She can drag me across a field and show that she's able to drag dead weight. If little Susie Holster or little Betty Ponytail right here, either one of them, I will 100%. I'll be the look. I'll be the dead weight. Absolutely. I don't think it's possible. And this is the other thing now. This is our first time seeing this. So I wonder how many other times have they been these three or a DEI hire for Secret Service? How many times has this been a case? Has this been ongoing? Does Joe Biden have this kind of coverage? Does Kamala have this kind of coverage? Jill? Hunter? Do they have this kind of coverage? I'm just wondering. Yes, I did see this top of the city. I did see that. And that's why I didn't want to talk about it, because I feel like this is a giant, if the YSL case here in Atlanta is a dumpster fire, this is an absolute utter this is a mountain of garbage on fire. There's so many problems with this story. I mean, it's really bad in my opinion. Top of the city. That's why I didn't want to talk about it, because I felt like it's only, to me, it's a blight on both parties. It's a blight on the good guys and the bad guys. It's that the idea and the notion that it could be an inside job. I no longer. That's why I didn't even want to touch it, because there's just so much foolishness to it. Like, y'all wanted this man out of here this bad? Like, my goodness, in the morning. I'm sorry. Amethyst Angel, there is no way. There is no way. You should. I would almost pay money to see little Susie Holster and Barbie Ponytail over here move a 6'4". Is he 6'4" or 6'3"? It don't matter. A 6'4", 250-pound weight across a field or to safety. I would almost pay money to watch that. There's no way. But see, y'all don't have, again, I mean, this guy right here, I believe this man right here could. I believe both of these guys over here by the front of the truck could. There is no way these three ladies are going to do it. If they might not even do it together. They might not even be able to do it together. Why are they here? So I did not want to talk about that, because I feel like it's such a cluster. It's such a giant mound, steaming hot pile of Brontosaurus dung that I'm like, I don't even want to talk about it, because I feel like we could have very well watched an assassination in 4K. And that's sad. I don't want to see that for anybody. I don't ever want to see that. Never do I want to see that. Never. But we could have been watching. If you're just watching the rally, thinking you're going to watch, Trump rally, whatever. Yeah. That could have been what you saw. And it's because of the complete and utter incompetence. And again, there's enough foolishness to spread around, because I think there was, yeah. I mean, there's some lies. There's just some outright lies going on. There's some, oh my goodness. It's so bad. So that's why I was trying not to even talk about it. The other day, matter of fact, let me tell you why I stopped talking about it, because they got me with one of these memes about it. And it was so funny. I got tricked into kind of believing it was real. Dog, where is it? I think I threw it away. I can't find it. It was a meme about the diagram and how it was called like the Pac-Man, whatever. That thing had me in tears. It was so funny. Maybe I didn't download it. Maybe that's what it was. But they got me, man. So I was like, I need to leave this alone, because they tricked me. Hold on one second. All right, so this is why I don't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it, because Dude, at first I was, okay, here it is. Okay. I'm embarrassed because I was reading this at first and I really was thinking this was real. I was really thinking this was real, man. They had me in tears. They had your boy, man, believing this was real at first. And I'm like, yo. And thankfully, wisdom overcame me while I was reading it. I was like, hold on, man, this ain't real. Because I was really believing this thing was real. So what does it say? It says, the Secret Service still denies all blame and responsibility, which is a scandal in itself. But whatever Pepsi Secret Service Director Kimberly Cantrell, a former assistant director at Pepsi, says is her opinion, not necessarily the truth. The pectical Pac-Man shaped security bubble raises an obvious question. Why wasn't it a complete security circle? The cutout section resembles Pac-Man's. And I was like, man, come on, man. Y'all had me, man. So anyway, this was a funny attempt to make, to point out the obvious problem is that this place should have been swept. This place should have been in the grid. This place where the gentleman was should have been inside of their security sweep, and apparently they didn't do it. And so that was it. But I just thought that was funny. So thank y'all for allowing me to laugh at that and laugh at myself. I'll drop it in the chat because I did think it was real at first. They had your boy, had me beat. All right, good people. There you go. Let's see. Any other good comments that I missed? Yeah, little Susie Holster and little Barbie Ponytail. They was no good. And here it is, Gene. And there are women that probably could. Sure. I'm not saying that no woman could do that. However, if you want me to believe that those three could, okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to let that slide. So Brian says this is gonna be the DNC themes for the week. Don't believe what your lying eyes, day 1. Don't believe your lying bank accounts, day 2. Lawfare is good fare, Wednesday. You know what, Brian? I think that's probably gonna be it. I like that. I like that. All right. Good stuff, everybody. But yeah, I appreciate y'all so much. Yeah, Fani had one job. But as I've said before, I really believe that the Trump interference case, in my opinion, was just a wealth transfer. It was just meant to run up a tab and not really, it was meant to, you've heard people say it was meant to bankrupt him at the end of the day. It was meant to run up a tab and keep him from being able to properly execute a campaign. Because think about it. If he wasn't being sued in New York and they already threw out the Florida case and messing around here in Georgia, imagine if none of that stuff was happening and they were just running, this would be a very interesting race. It would be very interesting. But they have all of this lawfare going on. If you're not familiar with lawfare, it's basically suing your political opponent in order to keep them from being able to execute a proper campaign against you. It's pretty interesting. So I don't think there was any intent. And hear me, if the case in New York that he was found guilty of 34 felonies, if it was solid, why wouldn't they just go ahead and sentence him? Why not? Just go ahead and throw the book at him and make it happen. But you keep putting it off and pushing it further down the road for what? It was supposed to, you already got a month afterwards. Just go ahead and sentence him. Just go ahead and do it. Because it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. The goal was to just attach felon to his name. They really don't care about sentencing him. It never needs to happen. It's never going to happen. I'm sorry. The goal was to just attach felon to his name. That was it. That was it. Once they got the accounts back and they said guilty, it was a wrap. They were fine. They didn't care anything else about it. It'll never happen. You'll never be sentenced. But same thing, like, what's the purpose of that? Just to say that how dare you vote for a felon? That was it. That was all it was. I'm just here to cause trouble. All right. I mean, auto hoax, I can't disagree. I mean, it's going to be hard for somebody to tell me something different. But I'm open to it. Show me something different, because at this current moment, that looks like exactly what happened. You put a bumbling security detail in play. They don't know their left hand from the right. They don't know how to put away their holster. I will say that Susie Holster at least had good firearm management. She didn't have her finger on the trigger. That was at least encouraging. I gotta find something good to say. That at least was encouraging. However, I feel like yeah, you put this man's life in danger, again, just because we disagree ideologically. I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to Kamala. I disagree with her on a lot of things. I wouldn't want something bad like this to happen to Nancy Pelosi. I disagree with her. AOC, come on. I don't agree with many Republicans either. But I do understand, like, there's a limit. Like, our disagreements don't need to go to this place where you can never come back from. We can disagree and, just disagree. But we don't got to go to the place where you can never come back from, in my opinion. No, Doug in Exile got, oh my gosh. Doug is removed from YouTube. My goodness, man. Yeah, I think this is, it's interesting. Oh, okay. I got you, Gene. Yeah, I don't think this, and let's just be honest. Let's be honest, okay? Because we can have an honest discussion about gender roles. Most women are not clamoring. If anything I can do, you can do better is true, then women would be clamoring and lining up to do jobs that men could do. Like you're lining up to be a lineman. You're lining up for forest firefighting. You're lining up for these very gnarly, ugly jobs that men do. But you're not. And nothing's impeding you from doing so. That's the point. Come on, let's just be honest. So I think we need to have an honest discussion in 2024, going into 2025. Let's just be honest with one another and stop lying to each other. My wife is not me. There's things that I do that my wife will never be able to do. Guess what? There's things that my wife does that I will never be able to do. Hats off. The Lord made us different. We complement each other. That's it. It doesn't need to be I need to be able to do everything. No, there's no way in the world. Just stop it. Just stop it, people. But wait, we don't need to stop this. What happened here? Amethyst with a great super chat. Thank you so much. Did you know that the shooter was a black rocker? I did see that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's complexities and levels. Thank you so much for this super chat, Amethyst Angel. There's a lot of levels to that whole shenanigans that happened in Pennsylvania, that I think we'll be unpacking this for months, maybe even years. They'll still be unpacking this and realize what all happened in that regard. And it's unfortunate because I feel like it compromises people's faith in government. It compromises people's faith in law enforcement, in so many different layers that we don't need this distrust amongst us. But this is what they did. So yeah, I did see that, and it was kind of weird. I know they try to couch it like it was just I mean, like, just think about it. And I've mentioned this earlier this week when I was on with Red Pilled Brown Girl. I said, please understand, the gentleman that committed this crime was 20 years old. That means he was born around 2002, right on the end of 9/11, right? Since we've been in the 2000s, who has pretty much ruled the roost, if you will, as it relates to education? It sure enough is not Republicans. It sure enough is not conservatives. Because remember, I'm a former classroom teacher here in Atlanta. It's not been conservative and Republicans. Who's ruled the roost as it relates to the messaging going out on social media? Sure, there's the pockets of conservatism, but even y'all just mentioned that a conservative channel got removed off of YouTube. So it's not us. This is the byproduct. This is the end result of allowing democratic ideas to run around unchecked. This is what you get. Because there's no way you're going to make me believe that young man who's 20 years old, he probably hasn't even voted yet. He probably has never voted as of yet. Or maybe he voted one time in a primary, but he's never actually voted in a presidential election. Is that torqued off that he would go harm somebody? Oh, and by the way, he's a registered Republican and he wants to take out the Republican candidate. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. That makes no sense. None whatsoever. I'm a big fan of Michael Jordan. I'm a team Jordan, right? So I'm gonna go trip him and try to break his ankle. That doesn't even make sense. So again, that's what I'm saying. Like, some of this is just, it's silliness. As the kids like to say, you're playing in my face. You're just lying right in front of me. You think I'm gonna believe that? It doesn't even make sense to do that. Just my little 2 cents. So back to the DNC. I can't wait to see how they try to frame some of these situations that you all have been talking about, that other people are discussing as well. I can't wait to see how they frame them. I think it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening, how they have framed the 13. Like, for example, I didn't realize that Joe Biden has never addressed the 13 servicemen and women that were left in Afghanistan. I didn't realize that. I heard it in passing, but it never materialized until last night. Like, wait, so he's never actually addressed. And I immediately said, wait, he said at the debate that he's never lost a serviceman or woman under his watch. I'm like, Afghanistan. And to know that he has never actually addressed that, that's pretty terrible. Is he gonna address that at the DNC? I'm here to watch it. I just want to know. Because I think it'll be interesting to see, how do they frame that? Are they going to frame that in a way that tries to make them look good? Are they going to take responsibility for it? Are they going to say, you're right, we never did, we apologize? What? I want to know. I think it's going to be interesting. You all are wild in this chat. I love it. I like it. Lots of good conversation back and forth. I enjoy the Good Family Reunion. You all talking amongst one another. I really appreciate that. It's always cool to see that. I think we've rounded these bases enough. Y'all, I plan this evening, as I told you before, we'll be finishing up we'll finish up the RNC tonight with Trump's acceptance speech and so on and so forth. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some fireworks with that. I'm pretty sure that's going to be interesting, to say the least. I already have that live stream planned. I will be kicking off around 9 o'clock. I have a diaconate meeting this evening. So as soon as we get done, we'll be kicking that off. But hopefully we already did all our pre-work. So hopefully it's just come in there. Yes, yes, no, no. Write a check and keep it moving. So hopefully it will be a short diaconate meeting. But I'm looking forward to talking with you all about that. So thank you all very much. I appreciate you all. This has been a fun time. Okay. Now I want to, I see some conversation about the Biden not addressing the 13. And apparently, again, from the families that were there at the RNC last night, they never did. And so I remember him saying again, nothing happened. It was a success, a successful withdrawal, which is kind of wild. But yeah, I want to see how they frame this during the DNC. I'm looking forward. I don't know, Brian. Brian's asking the great question, and I'm trying not to go down too much of a rabbit trail. Why was the head of the Secret Service at the RNC last night? Why was she even there? It just seems wild. Like, why were you there? And she skipped out on a Senate hearing about it. Just seems wild. Yeah, that's going to be wild. But everybody, I want to thank you so much. It's been a great week. I've had a lot of good information, so much going on, but we'll cap it off tonight with Trump's acceptance speech at the RNC. Looking forward to having that discussion. So everybody, I want to thank you again. I'm looking forward to seeing you all tonight. Make sure you have some popcorn. Get your beverage of choice, and we'll do it again real soon, everybody. Thanks again. Grace and peace. Take care.